Hi Anil, hi Manikanta. Good morning.
Good morning, Anna.
Hi Ajay, good morning.
Good morning, Krishna.
Okay, let's start for today. Okay, so in last class, what we discussed about the what is network and what is subnet, and how this how to give the address space for the network in Azure, and how to create a subnets. We discussed all these things in the last class. Okay, we tried to deploy one virtual machine inside the network and subnet, and how to access that and how to control the traffic on that. So all these things we are going to see today. Before that, I give some brief introduction about the virtual network once again. Then we can go further. Okay. So what is the purpose of virtual network? It's your own isolated network in Azure. So in cloud, we are going to isolate. Isolate means we are going to control the traffic, or we are secure our resources if you are trying to deploy in the network. You can see here. So we have a network like this. We can create multiple networks. There is no restrictions to create one single network. Okay, you can create multiple networks. So these networks are isolated. There is no link in between these two. It is completely isolated. Okay, so you can connect what are the services inside this network without any restrictions. So you can connect the same. This network, there is no issue with the connectivity between these particular services. The same thing happened for this network. But you cannot directly connect from this network to this network. We cannot. It is not possible to do that. We have different services for that. So once you implement, then only it's possible. Otherwise, by default, it is not possible. So region can have multiple VNets, but each VNet belongs a same region. Okay. So you can, in a single region, you can create multiple VNets. Okay. So in the same region, you can create multiple networks also. There is no issue at all. You can create a number of networks in the same region. Okay. Within a network traffic is isolated, not visible from the network traffic is all over the Azure VNets. So I told you that each network is completely isolated. This network is completely secured for these resources. This network is completely secured for this network, these services. So you cannot directly access this services from the outside this network. The same thing happened here also. So IP address is the address of resource which ensure the traffic gets the right server on the internet. So definitely every server have a IP address. So within the network, what type of IP address will get by default? Is a private IP or public IP?
Private IPs.
Private IP only. So why? Because we are going to give this address space. You can see 10.0.0.0/16. This is the private address range we are going to given for this particular network. So we cannot assign public IPs directly to the any service. It has to be provided by service provider. We cannot directly, I need this public IP to this service. We cannot do that. It is public IPs are purchased by some of the service providers like Airtel or you can Microsoft have some their own they purchase the public IPs and different service vendors Airtel or Geo or this internet service providers they need to buy these public IPs from the INI. So this is the authorized persons to maintain that public IPs. So they need to purchase from there. So it is the random IPs will be assigned by that particular company, that particular service provider. We cannot directly assign that. Okay. But within the network, we will get a private IPs for the services what we are running here. These IPs are come from this address range. 10.0.0.16 means first two are static and the last two are can be changed. The first IP will be assigned to here, second IP, third IP. So how many services you are going to deploy, the IPs will be assigned. So every resource gets its own unique IP on the VNet within the address space. So in this network, for example, this particular service, okay, service means it might be virtual machine, it might be database, it might be a VPN gateway, anything. Okay. So if this particular service get a specific IP like 10.0.0.4, so can I get the same IP for this one also? 10.0.0.4. Is it possible?
No, Aman.
Is it? Did you guys understand what my question is? Ajay and Anil.
It is not always.
Yeah. Okay. So why it is not possible?
It is inside a network. It should be enabled.
So I have one VM. I have one VM. This is the IP address is 10.0.0.4. So can I get the same IP? If what will happen if I get a same IP? This is the address range, right? 10.0.0.0/16. So here we are going to get IPs from this particular IP range. Okay. So you can see the 10.0.0.0, the first IP is a 4. So shall I get the same IP for this particular server? We cannot. Why? Because if you get a same IP for two servers, is it possible to communicate each other?
No.
No, right? So in our house, if you have two Srinivas are there, how can you identify each Srinivas? If you call Srinivas, you cannot communicate the same person. We don't have any specific identity of each person here. We don't know which Srinivas you are calling, this person or this person, if you both have a same identity. Okay. So here within the network, these private IPs are unique. Within the network, the IP addresses are unique within this network. If I have same one more network, okay, I have one more network. Here I have one more server here. The same IP address range 10.0.0.0/16. So can I get 10.0.0.4? This IP can get it for this VM. Will I get it or not? This is one network one. This is VNet one. This is VNet two.
Yes, we can get one.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can get it because it is completely different network. There is no link in between these two networks. This is completely different network. This is completely different network. You may get the same IP in this network, right? You clear, right? What I'm trying to say? The IPs are unique within the network. It might be the same IP can be available on the different network. Okay, that's we need to remember it. So you can scaling, you can add more VNets or more address space in existing VNet. So you can add. So we will discuss what about the scaling and option. Okay, not required now. So need a subnet. Subnet also we discussed last class. Each kind of resource that has distinct across to access requirements. Elastic load balancers that are publicly available or accessible through the internet. Database and app servers are instant should be inaccessible from the internet. Only apps running inside your unit should be able to access them through the private resources. How do you partitions public and private resources inside a VNet? Okay. So yesterday, last class we discussed, right? What is the importance of subnets? Okay. Subnet means we are going to segregate our network into small pieces. Okay. The entire network we are going to segregate as a pieces. Right. So what is the purpose of that? We are going to segregate our resources. For example, we have a databases, we have virtual machines. Okay. We have any other services running on your network. So this is the sum of the servers. These are the databases, database servers. Okay. So I have one more subnet. This is some application servers are here running here. Some application servers are running here. So I want to establish a connection between these two only. I don't want to establish a connection these two. I don't want to do that. So by default, you can communicate any server to any server. Within the network, you can communicate. This server can communicate to this server communicate this server, this server communicate this server. The communication by default is open. But these are the different type of servers. We have different purposes. Sometimes it is required to connect, sometimes it is not required to connect. So first we need to segregate what type of servers within the network. Then only we can control the traffic. Otherwise, you cannot do that, right? Okay. So for example, we have This we have, for example, in your office or in the school, we are expecting 20 people are there in our school, for example. So I want to segregate 10 people cannot communicate these 10 people. So how we are going to do if all are in the 20 people are in the same class or anything like that? We cannot stop it to communicate each other. First, we need to segregate these 20 people in the two parts. 10 people here, 10 people here. Then we can control now. Okay. So who can control, who can talk to only this guy? Who can talk to this guy? We can control first, we can segregate. Then only we can implement. Otherwise, we cannot implementation of communication between these two groups. So group is nothing but a subnet because we are grouping these people. We are grouping another 10 people separately. So now we have two groups, then we can control the traffic from these two groups. If there is no grouping, we have only single group, it will be very difficult to control this the communication between these people. First, we need to segregate these people in the two groups. Then only can control the traffic. The same way, subnets are will help to maintain our architectural resources in a proper manner, and we can control the traffic between these within the network. So how do you control that? With the help of network security groups. Network security groups. These network security groups will help to communicate or control the traffic between the subnets or between the service servers. We can control the traffic. So how the traffic will be established? First point we need to understand. For example, I have a network. You can see here. I have a one subnet here. In the subnet, I have one virtual machine. I have one virtual machine here. So what type of access? For example, I have, you can say, I have one more subnet and I have one more VM here. So one network, I have two subnets. This is the subnet. Subnet 1. This is subnet 2. This is the VNet, virtual network 1. So if I want to communicate this virtual machine, what are the requirements to communicate within the network or outside the network? So for example, I try to connect from the outside the network. I'm trying to connect the server from the outside the network. What are the requirements to communicate what are the prerequisites to connect this particular server? First point, I need a IP address of your server. Correct? Without IP, we cannot communicate. First point. Is it correct or not?
Yes.
Okay. So this IP is assigned to where? Sorry. We have a NIC card. So every server, even your laptop also, we have a NIC card. Are you guys aware of it? What is a NIC card? NIC card?
Network interface card. Network interface card.
Network interface card. Why this is required in your laptop?
For a MAC address, for a permanent MAC address that is given by the vendor.
Hmm. So MAC address is there, that NIC card will get an IP. The IP, whatever the IP you're going to assign, right? That IP is assigned to your NIC card. For example, your public, if you can add multiple NIC cards also, multiple IPs also can add it to single server. We can do that. So without NIC card, you cannot assign IP. So what we are trying to say, IP address is mandatory to identify the server. So how this IP address assigned to this particular server? With the help of NIC card. So physical card is assigned to add it to your server, laptop, anything. So NIC card, without NIC card, we cannot assign IP. Okay. So every server or every laptop or every device should have a NIC card physically. So in cloud, this NIC card is assigned by your vendor. In a virtual NIC card will be there. So this NIC card will be assigned to server, and this NIC card will get a IP address. Okay. By default, this NIC card will be assigned by your vendor, Microsoft, as in Azure. Okay. Every server, when you create a virtual machine, this NIC card will be assigned to your vendor, and this NIC card will get an IP address. This is the process. Okay. So once your IP address is assigned to this VM, this is more than enough to connect the server. For example, I want to take a RDP. RDP means remote desktop port, right? We are remote desktop process. We are going to connect this server. RDP means you are going to log into this server remotely. Okay. From my laptop, I am trying to connect this server. So this process we can call as a RDP, remote desktop port. Okay. So in order to send this request to connect the server, the type of request we can call as a RDP. For example, you try to access one website. What type of request you are going to send? For example, I open my application called MakeMetric application. You can see this application on your laptop, right? But MakeMetric application is installed on your laptop. This is available on your laptop, or you are accessing somewhere.
We are accessing.
You are accessing, which is hosted somewhere. It is not in your laptop. You are not installed anything. You are accessing. That means you sent a request. You sent a request from your laptop through internet. Try to search where is a MakeMetric application was installed. It was installed on some server in somewhere. We don't know that. Okay. Whenever you type MakeMetric application, makemetric.com, the request will go out from your laptop, and through the internet, we're going to search where is that MakeMetric application and what is the IP address of that particular MakeMetric application. It might be 2020, some public IP will be there, 22, 41, 52, something like that. It is going to search that server and try to access it, and you can connect this backend application and get a reply for that. So this is the process. So what type of request you are going to send here? You can see what is this HTTPS. You can see this. Any website you are trying to connect, it has to be in a HTTP or HTTPS. Correct? So what type of request you sent here? HTTP or HTTPS. This request you are going to send outside from your laptop, trying to connect any website. The same way you are trying to connect to RDP to this particular server, you need to send a RDP request for Windows server. If it's a Linux, it is SSH. Okay. There are the different type of requests you have available. DNS, we have different request. Database, SQL database, you have different requests you are going to send it to access the database. So how do you know that what type of this request come from? Okay. Each request has one number that we can call as port number. Are you guys heard about the port number? Port. What is the port number for HTTP?
80.
80. HTTPS?
443.
443. For RDP?
389.
3389.
3389.
Okay, SSH?
22.
22. So every port, the port is mandatory to connect to run that particular service to this particular server, right? So here, when you try to connect this particular server, IP address is mandatory. Along with that, port also mandatory. The port should be open, otherwise you cannot connect. If the 3389 is blocked, you cannot take RDP off, even though this server have a public IP or whatever the access, private IP, whatever it is, you cannot connect. So port is mandatory and IP address is mandatory to connect here. Okay. So once you have it might be on internally, it might be on a externally. Same process. Okay. So network security group can control to block or allow these ports, IPs, everything we can control with the network security group. So this network security group can apply on the subnet level or NIC level. That means server level. Anything you can apply here or you can apply here. For example, I want to block RDP, whoever is trying to access the servers from outside to this particular servers. I blocked 3389. So once I block 3389, what will happen? I cannot connect these servers because the port is blocked. So I want to block for entire servers. For example, I have 10 servers. I want to stop all these application database servers. No one take RDP. I don't want to allow RDP of any of my database servers. I want to block 3389 for all these 10 servers. what I supposed to do? I need to apply this NSG in a subnet level. So once I apply the subnet level NSG, the request will come to the NSG first. If 338 is allowed, then only the request will get inside your subnet. If you block the 3389 here, you cannot connect the server. You cannot go inside the subnet because you blocked 3389. So no one able to take RDP. The servers which are part of this particular subnet. But you can take RDP of any other subnet because there is no block here. 3389 is not blocked for this subnet. Okay. So if there is no subnet, if all servers are in the single one, you cannot implement this type of security for specific servers. Clear? Is it clear, guys? The process?
Yeah.
Okay. So we are trying to implement that to create a subnet, and we are trying to create one virtual network and subnet, and how to control the traffic with NSGs. Okay, we'll see that. Let me connect the portal now. So connect my portal now. I already created one network, right? Subnet last time, a virtual network. In this virtual network, I have subnets also. 3 subnets I have created. So let me create one virtual machine now. Okay. I'm going to create a virtual machine. I'm using the same subnet resource group. Giving like app server 1. East to S2 only. We'll discuss all these options later. I'm going to create one Windows server. This is the size of the server. We'll discuss what is the size, models, and all this. And you go for virtual machine service. Okay. I'm going to give some username and password. So initially I allowed 3389 by default. Okay. Then I assign this to the specific subnet that is called VNet1. In the VNet1, I assign this to subnet, app subnet. Okay. I create a public IP. Okay. One more question. Can I access this server from my laptop without public IP or not? because my server is inside the subnet here. Can I connect this server with private IP from my laptop? Yes, no. Yes or no?
If it is inside the network, means I think we can access it.
My laptop, where is my laptop? In the same network?
No,
No.
you cannot access it. No.
So I'm not in this network. How can I connect this server with private IP? I I cannot connect, right?
No.
Yes, we cannot.
We cannot connect. So if I try to connect my laptop to this server should have a public IP. So if it's a without public IP, I cannot connect. Okay. So in the real time, what will happen? You cannot assign public IPs directly to the servers. We will discuss. We have so many other services. Like I told you, right? We have jump server. Okay. We are assigned some jump server here. How we are connecting from office to home to office network through the jump server, right? So we'll discuss later for this one. What the service, what is the model we have. But as of now, I'm directly give the public IP for this server because I want to connect this server from my laptop. So my laptop means I'm out of this network. So request will come through the internet. If any request come through the internet, someone is trying to allow inside this network, someone should have a public IP. Without public IP, that request cannot enter into this network at all. It will block here itself. If someone have a public IP, then request will is enter into this network and connect this particular device. Okay. You need to remember this, guys. This is very important logic because entire network is depends on this logic only. If it's a public IP, means if someone is trying to enter into your network, by default, someone should have a public IP. If someone is trying to get inside your network, if this request comes enter into your network, one of the device in this network have a public IP. Otherwise, it is not at all possible any request to enter into your network. So who will have this public IP? That is different story. You can give assign to the directly this server, or you want to create some Bayesian host or gateways. Many things are there. Who are trying to access it to get allow this request to enter into your network. Someone should be there. Otherwise, if without any public IP of any of the device inside this network, no one able to connect, get into this network. It is impossible. Okay, just remember that. Clear? Is it clear for everyone?
Yes,
Yes,
it is
sir.
clear.
Yeah. Okay. So now I supposed to give public IP here because I need a public IP, otherwise I cannot connect. Okay. Then I will go to just review. Most important. Hmm. can see it will give some warning also. Your RDP port is open for internet. So be careful. He's giving some warning sign also here. Okay. So, okay, I'm okay with that. Just I'm going to allow it now. One second, please.
సింపుల్గా పెట్టండి అది అడగలేదు
It is deploying now, the virtual machine. In cloud, you can see the deployment status. You can see here under notifications. Deployment is in progress. So that means something is going on. So here you can see the sequence. It is automatically picked up. No need to give any sequence here. We'll discuss later about that. Like, don't worry about that. Okay. Now one virtual machine is created. This virtual machine is inside this VNet app subnet, but I'm able to connect this server from my laptop because it has a public IP. You can see what is the public IP of this server is 20.144.114.128.173. Which class public IP is this? Is class A or class B or class C?
Class A.
Class A, very good. 1 to 126, 0 to 126 is a class A, right? So this is a class A public IP. Okay. Now I'm trying to connect this server. Let me see. So I just click on connect, download RDP file, keep, open the file, connect. I give the password. You are able to connect now this server. Let's see how I'm going to control the traffic for this. You can see the server is ready to use it. The server is ready. You can set up everything. You can install. You're able to log into the server from your laptop with the public IP. Okay. So now I'm trying to, for example, you can imagine this is the process. For example, here this server have a public IP. So that's the reason it is allowed to connect the server, and port 3389 is open for this server. So that's the reason I'm able to connect the server successfully. Okay. You can imagine I have 10 servers inside the subnet. So I want to block 33889 for entire subnet. I can use a network security group on a subnet level. Okay. For example, I want to block only one server. I don't want to block 3389 for all the servers in the subnet. So what I supposed to do for that? I can apply same energy, remove here and add this server. 1 second, guys. So I can add this network security group on this particular server. Okay. So what do you understand here? Network security group can be implemented on subnet level or can be implemented on specific server level. But you cannot use network security group on entire network. Here you cannot use it. It is not possible with the network security groups. Okay. So now I'm trying to implement NSGs. How we are going to implement it? Okay. I want to block a NSG group for subnet level. How I am going to do that? First, I'm going to create a network security group. Network security groups. You can see here, create network security group. You can take any resource group name, NSG1, review. Create. Okay. Tomorrow we are going to discuss deep into we have some options we need to discuss for network security group. We'll discuss, but just today I'm going to show how to create a rule and associate to the subnet. How are going to do that? Today I will show you. See, I'm going to create a network security group. See, I have a network security group now. You can see we have inbound, we have outbound. What is the meaning of inbound and outbound?
Incoming traffic and outgoing traffic.
Okay. So so I have a virtual machine inside the subnet. If I try to connect from outside to this virtual machine, this traffic, this request type we can call as inbound. Okay. If you try to access from this server to internet, this is the outbound. So many people are confusing in what is the inbound outbound, because you can imagine I'm trying to connect from my laptop to this virtual machine. Okay. For my laptop, is it outbound or inbound? For my laptop, it is a what type of request it is? It is an outbound request for my laptop or inbound request for my laptop? Did you get my question?
From
Can you
laptop to
repeat
server
it
or
once?
out?
Okay. For example, you are a one person, or like Ajay is talking to Manikanta. Ajay called to Manikanta. So for Ajay is an outbound call or inbound incoming call?
Outbound.
Ajay, outbound. He called to Manikanta, right? For Manikanta, this is
Inbound.
inbound, right? Incoming call. This is outgoing call, it is an incoming call. Okay. The same way for my laptop, this is an outbound request. Correct? My request is go out from my laptop and reach it to this particular VM. For this VM, it is a inbound. Okay. Clear, guys? Is it any confusion? So here, once you log on to this virtual machine, you try to access internet. That means you are inside this particular virtual machine, you are trying to connect internet. This is an outbound of my server. I sent a request out of my server, right? The request is going out from my server and accessing internet. So this is the outbound request. If someone is trying to access the server, that is the inbound request for this particular virtual machine. Is it clear? Inbound, outbound? Any confusion here?
Clear.
Everyone? Manikanta, is clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now, inbound request is, now we are going to 3389 is a port open to connect this virtual machine. This port should be open. That means who are trying to connect this server, that means it is incoming traffic of this particular virtual machine. The 3389 should be open. Otherwise, you cannot connect this server. So you can see, you go to the network security group, you have control inbound traffic and outbound traffic. Both you can able to control with the help of network security group. So now I'm trying to control the inbound traffic of my server. Okay. So for that, I need to write we have some default security rules here. You can see 65, 6500, 6501, 65500. So we will discuss these things for tomorrow. What all these rules about. The same way you have outbound rules also. These are the default rules. You cannot modify anything. Okay. Why we cannot modify? What is the default settings for this particular? Microsoft is set up this rules. How these rules are affected, we'll see, discuss tomorrow. But I'm going to add one inbound rule. What is that inbound rule? Here we have some options here: source, destination, service type, destination port, protocol, action, priority, and a name. So these are the different options are there, guys. You can see here, and a description. So this is the different options is there. So I'm going to create one rule here. What rule? Source, from where the request come from. As of now, I'm trying to give any. From any server is trying to access my server. Destination means your server. Okay. So you can give specific IP of your server, anything like that, or you can give your security group, or you can give any as of now. Okay. We have different type of services or ports are available. For example, you want to use RDP. You can see the default port is 3389. So you want to allow or deny this port. I want to deny, for example. Okay. I give priority 100. We will discuss what is the priority, what is the importance of that. That this name, that is your choice. Okay. Simply I add it. So I have created one rule in Nsg 1. As of now, I'm not attach this energy to any subnet or any virtual machine as of now. Just I created energy as a one service. Okay. I created a one service called energy. So this energy one have one rule called inbound rule, inbound port 3389 block. This is the rule I created in energy. So now this energy can be applied in a subnet level, or I can apply this energy in a server level also. If I apply this energy in a subnet level, whatever the servers are inside this particular subnet, this 3389 is blocked for all the servers. If I apply this energy only for one server, this rule can applicable for only this server, not all servers. So how can I attach this energy to subnet? It's simple. If you go to energy, we have a subnet. We have option called associate. Associate, you can see it will show you all the subnet, which subnet you want to attach. So where is my server? In a app subnet, right? Click on, you can see also, you can click on OK. So these rules, what are the rules I have created in subnet, inbound or outbound rules, that will be applicable for app subnet. Okay. So let me log off from the server.